Welcome, everybody, to another Grade 1 preview here at Twin Spires. For Scott Shapiro, Darin, Zoccali joining you. And we have one of the most prestigious races on tap on Saturday for the meet at Saratoga, the Grade 1 Whitney. Scott, we got a field of 6 here, but there's some big names for sure, some Breeders' Cup Classic implications. It's a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup. So a lot riding on the Whitney come Saturday.
Without question, Darin, good to be back with you. And a big race, to say the least. Last year, Knicks Go, with a very impressive win, maybe one of the best races by anyone all year, propelled him to the Breeders' Cup Classic and that impressive victory there. And wouldn't be surprised if the winner of this race wins that race again this year. Life is Good, the 6-5 morning line favorite on odds maker David Aragona's morning line. But there's some legitimate competition for that one in here, including a horse that we both give a big chance.
Yeah, we'll start there with the Olympiad, a horse that made his last 2 starts at Churchill Downs, and I thought could not have looked any more impressive. He beat American Revolution quite handily last time out. Proxy ran third there, I think, is a horse with a bright future with upside as well. He beat Happy Saver on May the 6th, who came back to run just fine in his subsequent try at Belmont. So he's starting to show that he could beat some of the better horses in this division. Now he's going to get tested like he never has before by Life is Good. But the way this pace scenario shakes out, if Hot Rod Charlie, who really seems to just have one way of going, and that's go, pushes Life is Good at all, and it remains to be seen if he can go with him. But Olympiad should work out a dream trip just behind the speed.
Yeah, I'm not so sure if Hot Rod Charlie has it in him to go with him. And it's interesting, the blinkers will go back on for trainer Doug O'Neill. Flavian Pratt, who rode Life is Good last time, is aboard Hot Rod Charlie again this time after not riding him in the Salvatore Mile when he lost to Mind Control in surprising fashion, to say the least. Has to know that he's not fast enough to go with Life is Good. He's been on both horses. But like you said, what is the ideal voyage? And for Hot Rod Charlie, either way, the pace is going to be honest. And Olympiad showed me a lot last time. I thought he had soft trips in the first 4 of his 5 straight wins. But last time out, he really showed me a new dimension, stalking just off a very quick pace of Caddo River, amongst others that were involved early in the Stephen Foster, and having no issues doing so and putting the field away in the lane. I think he's going to sit a great trip in here. What are your thoughts, Darin? I know Life is Good has the win in the Pegasus World Cup at a mile and an eighth, and he's shown the ability to get a mile and an eighth. But in my opinion, the 9 furlongs at Saratoga, a lot different than that at Gulfstream Park. Any concerns about the distance?
I do. And for the same reasons that you said, Gulfstream Park is often a speed favoring surface that rewards horses that are brilliant early in the race. Saratoga, not necessarily like that. Saratoga at times can be a very deep, very tiring racetrack where the mile and an eighth could feel a lot more like a mile and a quarter. And I think that's really pushing the envelope of a horse like Life is Good, which is why if he gets any type of pressure early on here, I think he could potentially be vulnerable at a short price.
Well, he's going to go fast, pressure or not. And you'd have to think that Hot Rod Charlie and Olympiad, who aren't as fast as him, though, are going to make a run at him, whether it be on the backstretch or on the far turn. Either way, Life is Good, certainly capable of winning this, probably the likeliest winner, but at a very short price. I think he is worth maybe taking a little bit of a shot against. I think Olympiad in the best form of his career. I trust him a little more now, despite the pedigree at the mile and an eighth distance, and just have been really impressed. I've been fortunate enough to see his last several races live, and never was a major fan of this horse. Thought he was a couple of the best, but after the Foster, I don't think that any longer. Hopefully we can get that 2-1.
Let's talk about the 2 horses who actually both ran second to Olympiad in each of the couple of the most recent starts, American Revolution and Happy Saver. American Revolution, I thought, bounced back nicely off a race that he needed on July the 2nd in the Foster. I thought he was a fine runner up there to Olympiad, who I don't think anybody was beating him that day. So I'm not going to knock this horse for running second. He is the winner of the Grade 1 Cigar Mile, but he beat that day following C, Plainsman, not necessarily the who's who of this division. So I do think there's still a bit of a prove-it factor with him. And Happy Saver has run second now to Flightline, Olympiad, Maxfield. So he's faced some good horses of late. He's maybe just a cut below the best, but either of them with a legitimate pace scenario here, I think are exotics players.
Right. American Revolution, third off the layoff. So you've got to hope for a move forward. I struggle to see him beating Olympiad unless something chaotic happens on the front end, because he had every chance to get to him last time out. He had a perfect trip. They went at it a bit up front, contentious pace. He sat the perfect trip, as you mentioned. Big bounce back effort, does have the win at Saratoga. The mile and a shouldn't be an issue, but is he up to the task of passing both Life is Good as well as Olympiad in the lane? That remains to be seen. I'm a little bit dubious. Happy Saber to me, 1 for 2 at Saratoga, a second, a horse that will need an honest pace to chase, but should appreciate getting back to the mile and an eighth distance. I think that's a distance that suits him well. But like you said, probably a cut below here, but definitely have a chance to pick up some pieces if they go at it a bit early.
I think that's how I'm going to attack the race. I think Olympiad is going to be a key to my day in terms of the horizontal exotics. And then within the verticals of the race, look for Olympiad to stalk pounce on Life is Good, leave Hot Rod Charlie behind, and hope I can get one of those two prices potentially into that second spot and maybe exactas and tries and liven up the exotics just a bit.
Makes sense to me. I think Life is Good or Olympiad very likely to win the race, but one of them could take the starch out of the other, whether it be Life is Good loose on the lead, Olympiad making a run at a speed horse like he's never seen before and getting turned away, or Life is Good tiring at the mile and an eighth distance, taking some heat from Hot Rod Charlie as well as Olympiad, and maybe setting things up for someone to pick up the pieces at a pretty good price.
It's a couple of check marks next to Olympiad. We'll look for the Churchill Invader to get the job done in the Whitney. It is a Breeders' Cup win and you're in race. Don't forget on Saturday as well, we have select races that are a part of that Saratoga Bet Back promotion. So be sure to get involved in that and get that win wager back up to $10. See which races are eligible on Saturday. Thanks so much for joining us for Scott Shapiro and Darin Zoccali. We'll see you next week for another edition of a Grade 1 preview with us at Twin Spires.